We are still looking at rules for identifying the subjects and verbs of sentences. We have rules 4 through 7 left. We're going to cover all of those rules in this video. So let's get to rule number 4. Many verbs consist of more than one word. We include any helping verbs in addition to the main verb when we're identifying the verb of the sentence. This next slide shows the many forms of the verb smile. And you can see there are 15 versions of the verb smile here. Most of them include a helping verb. So when you're identifying the subject and the verb, just make sure that you get all of the helping verbs that go along with the main verb. Rule number 5, let's look at an example. Sales of the latest iPhone have been declining. So we have the subject is sales and the verb have been declining. Now notice that I included all 3 words there because have been declining are all considered the verb. Now, what should I have done before I identified the subject and verb of this sentence? Think back to rule 3. I should have identified any prepositional phrases and scratched those out because here I have the preposition of, so of the latest iPhone is a prepositional phrase. So I needed to cross that out. I really should have done that before I identified the subject and verb of that sentence. So don't forget that. Now let's move into rule number 5. Words like not, just, never, only, and always are never part of the verb, even though they may appear within the verb. These words are actually adverbs. Let's look at a couple of examples. Jennifer did not study the preposition guide before the exam. Jennifer is the subject. Did study is the verb. Not is not part of the verb, even though not falls right smack in the middle of that verb, between the helping verb and the main part of the verb. But we do not underline not as part of the verb. If you were to do that on a quiz, it would be incorrect because not is an adverb. Look at another example. The construction was just completed last week. Construction is our subject, was completed is the verb. Just is an adverb, so even though it falls right in the middle of those two, it is not part of the verb. All right, rule number 6. No verb preceded by the word to is ever the verb of a sentence. If a verb follows to, it is what we call the infinitive phrase, and it is not part of the main verb. It means you will find the main verb either before or after the infinitive phrase. So let's look at a couple of examples where we have an infinitive phrase in the sentence. I love to swim during the summer. Here the subject of the sentence is I and the verb is love. The verb is not swim because it comes immediately after the word to. To swim is an infinitive phrase. The computer failed to save my essay before it crashed. The computer is the subject, failed is the verb. To save or save is not the verb because to save is an infinitive phrase. All right, one last rule. Rule number 7, no ing form of a verb by itself is ever the verb of a sentence. It's only the verb of the sentence if it has a helping verb in front of it. If not, it's not ever considered part of the verb. Here's a couple of examples for you. No one is better at swimming than Sierra. Here our subject is no one and the verb is. But why isn't swimming part of the verb? Why isn't that a verb? When you hear swimming, we normally would think of that as a verb, but there's no helping verb here. So the ing form by itself is never part of the verb. In fact, if you look at how it's functioning in this sentence, it's actually functioning more like a noun. Look at the next example. Walking to the store, Juan found a $20 bill on the sidewalk. And so Juan is the subject, found is the verb. Walking, while we would normally consider that a verb, is not a verb in this sentence because there's no helping verb in front of it. So the ing form of the verb can't be the verb. Okay, so be sure and take the subjects and verbs quiz in this module until you have all of those rules mastered. Do lots of practice. Be sure you get all 7 of these rules down pat, because the next module or the next section is going to be on fragments, and these rules on identifying subjects and verbs are very important before you move on to working with fragments.